Well, Cameron Walker is here now. I wonder what's more exciting, Cameron, sort of hearing about Alistair's interactions with the royal household, or just being able to spend an hour or so chatting to Alistair, because he's a man who's just the most incredible man.
Yeah, it's an absolute privilege to spend an hour with Alistair. His career obviously spans decades, and he has met many members of the royal family over those decades, and it was just really interesting hearing a first-hand account of being invited to a palace reception. He talks about driving up to the palace gates, the police checking the boot of his car, which is full of horse feed and all sorts of things for this donkey charity. And then, of course, the Queen being obliged and allowing Alistair's wife to meet her as well. So it was all those little details which perhaps you don't really get from a 2-minute chat on the television or in an article. So it was really lovely to listen to Alistair. But yes, brand new podcast. The Royal Record, launched last week with Alistair Stewart. We're going to be bringing you the latest news and analysis, me and Sfar, every week of all what the royal family's been getting up to and all their engagements as well.
Yeah, and of course the royal stories go on and on. A lot of people worried still about Catherine. What's the latest that you know? Because some places are reporting that we're not going to see her until next year, frankly. And others are saying, no, she might be out and about a bit more.
Yeah, I've seen those reports, and we do discuss that, actually, on the Royal podcast this week, because her early childhood scheme has launched this business task force report, claiming that it's going to add billions of pounds to the UK economy each year if you invest in early childhood. But we do, of course, touch on the fact that the Princess is still undergoing cancer treatment, preventative chemotherapy. Kensington Palace, understandably, want to keep her medical details private, and they're not going to give us a running commentary. To be honest, there's absolutely no timeline as to when we're going to see the Princess next. I suspect the fact that we're seeing the Prince out and about, we see on a number of the front pages this morning, Prince George and Prince William at the FA Cup final yesterday at Wembley, that there's certainly no cause for alarm. I think people around her as well are not particularly alarmed. I think what they're doing is giving her the time to recover and rest, and when she is ready and when she is able and the doctors give the green light, then she will be back on public duties.
Of course, you have to remember that she, and that's one of the few details we know, is that she is undergoing preventative chemotherapy. And chemotherapy can be very hard on you. I mean, you just don't know in what ways she might feel affected and make you feel very ill. So she may not know when she might feel fit enough to go out again.
Exactly, and we saw her from the message she delivered when she told the world that she has been diagnosed with cancer, that she is having the time and space, months to really undergo that treatment and then fully recover so she can be back. She said she looks forward to being back in the public eye, but only when she is ready. So I think we've got to be patient.
How important is it with these royal stories that you get a chance to... Because a lot of them are actually quite complex, to get the chance to dig under the surface a little bit and spend a bit of time examining what is really going on.
Yeah, and also trying to interpret the little nuggets of information you're given by various sources close to the royal household. I think it depends what you're talking about, whether it's a medical issue, of course, that we try and respect the royal family's privacy. But when it comes to their charity work or the causes they really care about, such as the Princess of Wales's early childhood scheme, it's quite hard to see how perhaps a member of the royal family can be actively involved in something that's clearly, as you say, Stephen, very complex, takes a lot of expertise, a lot of work. But then on the other hand, how many people can get top bosses of UK businesses in a room together to try and come up with a solution? And I think the royal family are very good at that kind of thing. And also, with certain charities, shining a spotlight on them, which then leads to more funding, leads to more publicity for that charity, and therefore they can do more work for the community. So it's those kind of perhaps things which the royal family can really be useful for.
Yeah, it's a business plan that works. I mean, you must have been to do's where there has been a royal and where there hasn't been a royal. And it does make a huge difference as to who goes and how much money they cough up, under certain circumstances. So they do fulfil an incredible function, actually.
So when is the podcast released? On what day each week?
So the Royal Record is released every Thursday morning at 6 a.m. You can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. It's also, the video version is on YouTube every week as well. So lots of places you can get it.
Fabulous, Cameron. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering whether it was going to be only video for the launch or whether from now on it's going to be sound only. But
No,
both.
every week, both, yeah.
Very good.
Oh, you know Cameron. He loves a camera in his
Well,
face.
absolutely. I was going to say you need makeup to do
Stop
radio,
it.
darling.
He's